playing Sultai Control. A Sultai Control mirror. These two are so honest. Oh my gosh. God bless them. Okay, here we go. Sultai Control mirror, Corey Baumeister, Ronald Fox. We're in the middle of game 1, I think, Todd. We got a long way to go.
Right.
Here's the Uro.
Awesome. Love to be in game 1 of an Uro mirror with both players well over their starting life total. This is going to be a good back and forth game.
I was also just thinking too, in that last game we saw that Escape to the Wilds was a total brick. It 0 for 5'd, and then we just won the next turn. So that's all. Easy mode. Here's a negate on a Heartless Act. All right, so we're doing this Uro thing. Ooh, Balagad Recovery. Okay. Gonna get back to the spell?
I did not expect that one to see as much play as it does, but a split card of the better half of Eternal Witness or a tapped Forest is actually just nutty for these mid-range Uro decks, Yeah,
that card's nice. I like that card a lot. Ooh, Reign of Revelation. I mean, we are keeping it honest.
Reign of Revelation. That is not one I expected to see much play. It's basically Sift at instant speed. 4 mana draw 2. I mean, there's a lot of those Hieroglyphic Illumination, Glimmer of Genius type spells that get cast every now and then. That one putting an extra one in the yard, you get to put the Uro in the graveyard later in the game if you need to, so you can escape it immediately. I'm kind of digging it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you want to play a ton of copies. I mean, I could be wrong about that, depending on how the metagame shapes up. But you want to play 1 or 2, sure. Let's rock it out. Let's try it. I mean, it's week 1 in quotes. So, Zarathan. All right. I'm kind of digging this. I want to see some action happen.
Yeah, that card is really interesting in that it actually ends the game when it hits one time, which is kind of cool. It also has Flash, is huge. It's a very cool card. I want to see exactly how it's going to affect the game, though. I mean, with just negate, you have to imagine it's going to be relatively dominant alongside the Uro, though. It's not even necessary. It's just overkill at this point.
All right, let's see. We're going to cycle a Shark Typhoon, big 7/7 Shark. I mean, Corey doesn't really have very much going on, so.
Quick question.
I got a quick or a quick or long answer. Go ahead.
Is Uro or the Shark rogue by chance?
No.
Rats.
Unfortunately not. Sorry.
Can't rogue Jitsu on the Trickster.
You are correct. They're not rats either. I'm not good at jokes like this. Extinction Event is going to get countered by negate. Counter back. Take that. What do you think about that? What do you think about neutralize to counter back to win this game?
That's what going to get cast.
I think you're right.
I also feel like Agonizing Remorse is going to eat the Uro from Baumeister, so I'm pretty sure. Oh wait, no, it's coming back this turn. Nice.
Okay, well that's a minor win. I'll give him that. This creature's going to get killed by Heartless Act, but it's cool that it's coming back. Corey just a touch behind.
Just a little bit.
I'm trying to think most powerful standard deck over the past 5 years. Yeah, I was thinking.
Here's the thing, man. I actually think that there are some standard decks in the past that have been more powerful than any of the stuff we see now, but in a vacuum only. The way that a lot of these decks and cards interact with each other is very favorable for cards like Omnath and Lotus Cobra. They have generated a universe, essentially like a microcosm, where spot removal is horrible. And they did that by making so many of these cards replace themselves. So even if you're trying to kill Omnath and Lotus Cobras and things like that, a lot of times they've already gained some sort of advantage, and so you're basically trading down on resources to interact with these cards, and so it just effectively becomes more favorable for you to just not interact and to do your own busted thing instead. It's a very Goldfish mentality where both players kind of just ignore each other in game 1, and then after sideboard everyone boards in 10 removal spells or counter spells or whatever to actually interact, but game 1 is a free-for-all, man. And that kind of I actually think the blue-red Splinter Twin deck I played for 3 months in standard during Caw-Blade post-ban might have specifically been the most powerful deck I've ever played in standard, but it was just so overshadowed by the previous formats like Stoneblade, the fact that every deck could regularly play like their own spot removal spells made it a little worse. But like in the grand scheme of things, like that deck was a fully powered turn 4 combo deck in Standard for 3 months. And I didn't get to play in any relevant tournaments during that time period. I had just moved to Roanoke, but I literally went to every FNM for 6 straight weeks, and I lost 1 match. Like it was, and the deck was just nutty.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about the days of Marvel, Emrakul, The Promised End, Ishkana, all that stuff. I mean, it's tough to say. It's an entertaining conversation to be had, to be sure. And fortunately, I mean, the ramp deck isn't in this particular matchup. But and you know what? Maybe the ramp deck doesn't win this tournament. Maybe it's not a problem then. Maybe no copies make top 8. Maybe we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. But we'll see, because it's Sultai control time.
Right. I would be impressed if 0 copies made top 8, specifically because of the sheer brute force of having like 70 copies out of the 126.
Quite a few in the tournament. Yes, that would be impressive.
It has to run really bad.
Yeah. An Agonizing Remorse is going to see a hand here of Negate, Neutralize, Scavenging Ooze, Agonizing Remorse, Heartless Act, and Balagad Recovery. The Recovery will be selected, which is land at number 3 in quotes. So a fortunate draw step there for Baumeister in picking up an island. And we'll see what he wants to do on this turn, because he's got a couple of options, leaving up Counter Magic, getting on the battlefield with Ooze, or being proactive with a discard spell.
So without Nisu Shakes the World, these Sultai decks, they don't actually have a specific top end outside of Uro. And so you'll see the game kind of break down where both players kind of trade off resources a bunch. And both players like cycle a bunch of Shark Typhoons and play a bunch of interaction like Agonizing Remorse, Heartless Act to maybe kill an Escaped Euro and things like that. But actual counter spells like Negate and Neutralize aren't actually that good, because there's no one specific thing that needs to be countered. It's literally just an amalgamation of advantage over time and interaction over time. And so you're going to see like the Neutralize getting cycled, and Corey picks up on that quite easily.
Well, let's take a little deeper look into this game now, as these players are buckling in for a little bit of a longer one. Ooh, Zora's Sand. Okay, so Shark Typhoon does make a bit of a difference with regards to how the games do have to be played. And though that shark is not a rogue, so you call it Rogue Jitsu?
Dude, that's basically what it's ninjutsu, but it's only for rogues.
No Rogue Jitsu here. Shark Typhoon is going to be cycled in for Baumeister, but Zora's Sand can be just hard cast as a flash threat. So there is that, as there's another copy of Agonizing Remorse.
Wow, big pickup here from Baumeister. That Mystical Dispute here. Going to be a heater. And that plus Remorse should, maybe take care of both of these Zora's Sands over the course of 2 turns, maybe.
Well, Negate's going to be countering there. Now here comes a little baby shark in for 1.
This is the first time I've seen a discard spell kind of mana screw somebody in the history of my Magic career.
I'm like low-key excited that that's a thing that can happen. I think that's actually kind of cool.
No, I do too. I think that it's something to keep in mind when you're playing against Agonizing Remorse, but also it just makes discard spells better, which I think in turn makes like ramp worse and control slightly worse. And I think all of that together is actually like pretty great.
All right, the Trickster, Merfolk Rogue. One of my favorite cards from Zendikar Rising has been placed onto the stack. Corey has a lot of ways to deal with this, so don't expect this first one to be good. Maybe the second one will be okay, but here's a Heartless Act. So, adios.
Yeah, Heartless Act, honestly, one of the better removal spells printed in the last 10 years. I'm very excited to see it in the spotlight more often. Most of the time there's some weird caveat on a removal spell like that where like it's actually there's a downside somewhere in there, and Heartless Act literally has like a caveat where you can only kill it if it doesn't have a counter on it, but also has the backdoor of just being able to remove a bunch of counters from something. So I really like the design of Heartless Act. It's obviously a strong card, and here we're seeing it kill 5-drop. It's pretty powerful, to say the least.
I'm inclined to agree with you there, my friend. So The thing I like about Heartless Act too is that it does have like these weird clauses that you can build your deck around to make it less good, which I think is also a good thing as opposed to just being a Doomblade 100% of the time or just kill target creature. Not a lot of work has to be done for Heartless Act to work, but the fact that you can counteract a little bit I think is pretty cool.
Curious how Corey's going to play this turn, because he could just let Zerasan stick and then hit it with a Heartless Act, and that allows him to play around Mystical Dispute without having to let Ronald cast it. So maybe the Mystical Dispute just gets worse over time because of players hitting natural land drops.
I am curious if you want to make like this weird dispute exchange though. Like, I dispute, I know you have a dispute, so because of the way that you've tapped your mana, or at least I'm assuming you have a dispute, so you dispute back and then I Heartless Act. Is that wasting your Mystical Dispute? Is it getting rid of their Mystical Dispute in a profitable way? I don't really know. Ultimately, Corey decided to let Zerasan resolve and then just Heartless Act it away, so we'll never know the answer to that question, perhaps.
I think the goal in situations like this should be to clear your opponent's threat and still have Mystical Dispute in hand. There are times where you can dispute something and they're tapped out, and it's just such a back-breaking tempo play that it's worth trying to play to that. And in a spot where your opponent can dispute back and kind of force you to burn a negate, because if he goes for a dispute, he doesn't have to burn the negate, but he's also just like leaving the shields down tremendously instead of just like holding up a Mystical Dispute on his own turn for like the worst case two spell scenario type stuff.
Totally agree.
It's a very interesting decision tree.
Yeah, Mystical Dispute is... I do like the way that you put that in so far as it does lead down some interesting decision trees, because it's obviously a very powerful card, especially in matchups like this. So, and if you both have one, how do you go about getting the Mystical Dispute out of your opponent's hand, and how do you make sure that you maximize the one that's in your hand is kind of an interesting question. But one thing we know for sure is that Scavenging Ooze is doing some work here in this particular game, and this is what we talked about a little bit with Heartless Act not being a clean, like Doomblade-esque removal spell. Ooze is actually looking pretty good in the face of Heartless Act right now, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, if you notice, Corey also fetched last turn to actually play around Heartless Act, because the way that he sequenced, he was able to hold up a green mana past the turn. Heartless Act can target Scavenging Ooze, but he could effectively counter one of the Heartless Acts by activating it and putting a counter on it, right? And so what ended up happening was he didn't activate it during the end step to play around Heartless Act, untapped, main phased it before attacking, and then that basically kept him protected somewhat from Heartless Act throughout that whole turn.
So now we're going to see a little bit of a fun back and forth between Corey and Ronald. So 4/4 Scavenging Ooze into 2/2 Shark. Shark's going to block. Before damage, Heartless Act, remove those counters. Well, here comes a negate from Corey. Corey says, I don't want that to happen. So, do you want to battle back? All right, negate's going to resolve. How about I try Heartless Act again? Take that. Corey says, no, you take that.
Yeah, but Dispute's going to allow Fox to win the exchange here and still get to untap with a big card draw spell in hand. The two Balagade recoveries on Baumeister side of things, though, are nothing to sneeze at. One's probably going to be a land, but the other one is going to be, like I said, the better half of Eternal Witness.
Yeah, this isn't a bad draw either here from Ronald by picking up that Agonizing Remorse to take the other Balagade recovery and then playing the Rain of Revelation. Now, Todd, I will ask you this, as Rain's going to resolve. Would you prefer to play the Rain first or the discard spell first?
Discard spell. So Rain is a weird one. Like, it's a loot effect, but it's such a burst of cards. Like, you get to pick 2 out of the top 3, and I think the Agonizing Remorse has a lot of value because you can snag like your opponent's big follow-up for the next turn. So I quite like that sequence there from Fox.
Okay. Well, it's a timely topic there from Corey Baumeister. He found an Uro. Uro got escaped. Well, we hardcast it first, didn't get escaped, so we hardcast it. It drew a land there's the battlefield on tap so that we could escape into it, and so now it's onto the battlefield. So running pretty good is Baumeister in this particular game. Now there's a Temple of Malady, negate. We are gonna put that on the bottom with the Scribe from the Temple. Now here comes the Baby Shark. So Ronald was kind of at parity, and now he's got to catch back up a little bit, and I will say that Heartless Act isn't a bad draw step, but neither is starting the turn off with a Rain of Revelation. Draw 3, discard 1, that burst of cards that Todd did talk about. And now, you got to be able to solve this Uro problem. So Temple of Mystery is where Fox is going to continue his turn and leave his card on top. Ooh, Lockmere Serpent on top. Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, hang on.
It has a lot of text.
It does.
Blue-black Serpent does a lot of cool stuff.
So that's going to be the draw set of Shark Typhoon. That's a pretty nice draw, too. So Lockmere Serpent, 6 mana, 7/7 flash. It can be countered, and then it has a bunch of different text on it. Blue, sacrifice an island. Can't be the Serpent can't be blocked this turn. Black, sacrifice a swamp. You gain 1 life and draw a card. Blue and black, exile 5 cards from an opponent's graveyard, which means you, Uro, potentially. Return Lockmere Serpent from your graveyard to your hand. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. Todd, this card is long gone from the days of like Aetherling. This is a different one altogether.
I mean, I'm just trying to grok exactly what you said because mostly it doesn't matter because it's just like it's a serpent or whatever. It's not Euro. Like the reason why I don't know what this card does necessarily, I kind of knew what it did, but I don't know what it does necessarily because it's what are you doing? Like just what are you doing? Why is this?
Look, 6 mana, 7/7 flash. There. That better?
Okay.
Make it easier for you?
Yeah. No. It's okay. I got it.
Didn't mean to confuse you so much. Okay.
Duly noted. The days of Nightpack Ambusher are behind us. Apparently, we need other flash threads.
I'm just glad I went through all of that reading the card, and you're just like, I don't know what it does. It's like, what am I even here for?
I heard it. I'm saying I didn't know what it did necessarily before you told me, specifically because it's not very good. It's been around for a year, and it's not like it's...
Well, new format,
it has so much text, and it's irrelevant. Like, that's the thing. It has so much text, and it's completely irrelevant because it's a 6-mana blue card that gets hit with Mystical Dispute, and it's like 1,000 times worse than Sublime Epiphany.
Look, that serpent is doing some work here. Okay, it's trying to. It's trying to. Well, who won? Who won? The person with the serpent, I think. I'm not. That's true.
No, Psycho Shark Typhoon ended it in court, and we went to game 3.
Yeah,
that's right, what. That's. Right.
Hey, Star City Games Premium. Let's talk about it. Become a Star City Games Premium member for just $7.99 per month. Receive instant access to these benefits. Exclusive content by Todd Anderson, Jerry Thompson, Paulo Vitor Damacosa, and many others. We got 5% off of sealed products like Zendikar Rising boxes of the booster variety, 10% off of singles like Lockmere Serpent, and 15% off of supplies. So see, there you go. You tie the whole room together.
If you're going to buy a bunch of singles or supplies or sealed product, it's a freebie. $7.99 a month. It's paid for on your first purchase or whatever. Like it's nothing. So sign up for premium. You get a bunch of awesome content. If you're already planning on buying cards, check it out. It's a good deal.
There's a hard sell from Todd. Well done.
Easy sell. It's easy to sell things that are excellent.
That's true. Corey in the tank deciding what land he wants to start with. It's going to be a Fabled Passage. Turn number 2 is going to be Agonizing Remorse number 1 here for Ronald Fox in game number 3. So here's a hand. We got a Balagad Recovery, a Neutralize, a Shark Typhoon, an Uro, and the was that Hagra Mauling?
We have one card that is 1,000 times better than the rest.
You are not wrong.
Look, Agonizing Remorse is just preemptively doing to Euro what WotC's going to do to it on Monday. Okay.
What you hope WotC's going to do to it on Monday? We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. Okay.
After watching this, you think, yeah, okay, this is fine. 70.
Maybe they're gonna ban Hagra Mauling.
When was the last time any card was greater than 50% of any metagame? Of any metagame that was 100 or more players, it is 74% of our decks today. I'm not mad at the players who are registering the card. I'm just mad in general, a lot.
I'm upset.
Maybe that's a me thing.
It's like that scene. It's like that scene from Whiplash. I'm upset. Here's a forest. Corey has no black mana. And Cycle Away is black mana. Cycle Away is Triome. That doesn't seem great, but maybe it doesn't matter. Most of his hand's blue and black right now, so.
Yeah, the Hagra Mauling can just be a black source. It's not a big deal. I think he's just looking for some juice, and Rain of Revelation's pretty good.
Yeah, I like this card. I like countering it, too. It's a pretty powerful card. I wouldn't mind the format shaping up around that card. Okay, here's the Mauling. Arrgh. That's actually just going to be a Swamp enters the battlefield tapped. It's Hagra Blood Pit. I didn't look it up. I knew. We're heading back over to Ronald.
Look, no one expects you to get it right on the first try. Okay, they're new. The one cool thing that to remember is that the way that they're all built, the front side and the back side usually have one word in common. So like Balaged Recovery is like Balaged Sanctuary or something, you know. Hagra thing is Hagra thing on the back. Like, you know, it's thematic. We're building a theme deck. Okay,
yeah, you get a little help. You get a little help. Hey, yo, it's your serpent. Look at your serpent going to work.
Very easily dealt with. Okay,
look at your serpent getting busy, man.
You have to literally bend space and time to beat a Euro, and for Lockmere Serpent, it takes like a breath of fresh air. It's dead. It's gone. Oh, you can bring it back for 2 mana and 1,000,000 words of text, and it doesn't come into play. Cool.
Yeah, well, it is kind of sad it doesn't come back into play. It goes back to your hand. That's kind of a bummer. But that might actually happen in this game. So Corey is analyzing. You just see the serpent was a problem. It had to get exiled. It was too good.
Yeah, I mean, it was better than the Shark Typhoon in hand, which is kind of wild. But it does eat the opposing graveyard, which actually is kind of cool. Like that to me is a more bigger selling point than ever casting it. Just sometimes you put it into the graveyard and you get to use it like a weird Tormod script, I guess.
See, and you were hating on the serpent. Old Serpy. Did some work in this game, sorta, kind of, incidentally. We cycled a Shark Typhoon. We got a 4/4 coming at Corey Baumeister right now. And
the same way that the same way that Sphinx's Revelation deals with Thoughtseize. By getting taken by it, or whatever.
That's right. Yeah. You have that, I'm taking that. And then I hope you don't ever draw a Sphinx's Revelation. I miss those days. You know that was 6 years ago?
Feels like longer, honestly.
Really?
I don't remember the last time I cast Sphinx's Revelation. I think I cast in Cube once, and before that is a blur. I've moved states. I'm on the other side of the country now. My life is a bubble. And there is no escape. Every day is exactly the same. Except coverage day. This is way different than my normal days.
I think it was 2014 when we were revving and pack ratting every weekend. And if you're Ross, Frostburn weirding. Which
Frostburn Weird was lit.
No, I like that card. That deck was good. Mono Blue Devotion was good. Here's an Agonizing Remorse. Is this gonna resolve? Nah, neutralize that. We gonna fight over it? Ooh, okay, we are.
Yeah, I mean, this is a fine thing to fight over. I mean, you're just gonna lose it anyway. You know, might as well at least keep some information leak at bay. And now, basically, you force your opponent to use all their mana too, and basically let like most of their shields down because they had to burn their neutralize to like win the counter war.
Ooh, look at the rain. Good draw. 3 mana available too. Discard a land.
I was gonna sing a verse from the Reigns of Castamere, but I wasn't sure if it was a Monka Terms of Service breach.
That's fair. I was gonna sing a song by Hilary Duff called "Come Clean."
Yeah, that definitely would have gotten. Would have got snagged by the TRS.
That's right. Just straight blocked.
Yeah.
Couldn't use the video. Couldn't upload the video on YouTube.
Sorry, man.
Which it's all right. That's why I didn't sing it. All right. Oh man. So there's the Jawari Disruption. Okay. Well, one of these cards is better than the other. Jawari Disruption. Your draw step. Uro. My draw step. Not bad.
Yeah. And honestly, we're really seeing why Corey Baumeister is one of the best in the world. When it comes down to it, he draws the Uro. Okay.
There it is.
No one else in the world could have drawn Uro in that spot. Corey Baumeister found a way to draw Uro, and this is
expert analysis right here by Todd. There we go. Hey, Ray's coming.
The card's do all the heavy lifting. There's no decisions to be made. It's yes, I drew my mythic rare.
Come on, there's some decisions to be made.
There is. Every other decision until this point has mattered, and then this decision, and then it's just
We'll see. We fought over it. Uro's not on the battlefield. It's just these Jawari Disruptions.
Just give it a second, man.
Just
wait half a turn, and then it's coming right back, dude.
Jawari Disruption is a tough draw step, back to back, tough draw. That's all I'll say about that.
Jim Davis kind of poo-pooed on Jawari Disruption in his set review, And I was like, no way, man, that card's great. It's going to see playing a lot of decks. Turns out every modal, DFC land spell is incredible. They're all just extremely good.
So I like a lot of them. I like the red one that deals appointed damage, and Balagat recovering a lot of them. I just think you're asking a lot from Jawari Disruption for things to go correct. Personally, I think it's... obviously, we're seeing it at its worst. But
right, you know what you do if you have a Jawari Disruption in your opener and you're on the draw? You play it as a land on 1. Because there's no way you're ever tagging anything when you're on the draw. But if you're on the play, you hold it up on 2, and then you counter something. And then it's insane. It's so good.
Yeah, I get it. And then there are situations like this where you need to draw a real card and you draw Jawari Disruption.
Yeah, but it's just the same as a land. It's just the exact same as drawing a land, except in the early turns, it's either a land or a censor. And that's pretty cool.
You're right. You're right.
Thank you. Finally, someone told me I'm right.
There you go. See, I'm willing to concede when you were right. I still don't think it's very good, though.
Who's not willing to concede? Is Ronald Fox.
Yeah, fighting it out. And I respect it. Don't worry, it'll all be over soon. Could probably eliminate. Okay, well.
All right, here we go. We got to play some more.
That's a thing that will take care of Uro temporarily. So, see, there you go.
Look, the graveyard's mostly eaten. This is actually a fine top deck. I was mostly just trying to make a weird segue because of the wording.
Let's see. Ooze is going to go munch in here. Might as well munch up as much as your graveyard as I can. So if you do peel an Uro, you can't escape it. So I like this. Let's just go.
And that's called counterplay, baby.
That's right.
That's the type of counterplay I like. Is preemptively your whole graveyard, so you're absurdly undercosted mythic rare. Doesn't get you back in the game against my absurdly undercosted mythic rare.
Yeah, let's just chow on down. That's all. Scav News, one of my favorite new cards. Big on that.
Oh, I love it as a reprint. Absolutely adore it. It was good in your mono green aggro deck too, right?
Oh yeah, it was great. It's one of the main reasons the deck was. I don't want to say it's the only reason it was playable, but it was one of the main reasons it was playable.
What mono green aggro? You were playing mono green aggro before they reprinted Ooze, right? I thought it was like just recently reprinted in M21, and you were playing that deck well before M21 came out. I thought.
Yeah, I was playing it before Core Set 2021 hit. Yeah, and it was fine then because like that was like before people were like taking it seriously. And then you got Ooze, which was a big help because Uro was always a problem because, well, read the card. So, hello, Zara being smaller than Uro, even though it costs more mana. Yeah. So, it's just, I'm glad it's back. I'm a big Scavenging Ooze guy. We got a good game announced here from Ronald Fox. Baumeister going to win this match 2-1. Sultai Control Mirror goes to the player on the left.